Okay, so our last section of this chapter, we're going to learn about the law of cosines. So just like last section where we only worked with sine, today we're only working with cosine. So if we know the measures of two sides and the measure of an included angle, so when we're working with SAS, or we know all three side lengths, which means we're working with our side, then we can find all the other measures of a triangle. So our law of cosines says that if we have our lowercase a, b, and c that represent the lengths of our sides, and our uppercase a, b, and c represent those opposite angles, then we can have a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c times the cosine of that opposite angle A. Okay, so we can do these for all three angles. So if we're looking for this A right here, we're going to use the square of this other side, the square of this other side, minus 2 times the side length times the side length times the cosine of the opposite angle. Okay, it's the same thing for B and C. So if we have B squared, if we're looking for the side length of B, we're going to do B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2 times AC times the cosine of B. And finally, if we're looking for the side length of C, we're going to do C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of C. Okay, not really concerned on showing you how it works, so we're just going to go for it. So right now we are looking for B. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our law of cosines, and we have B squared equals, we have one of our side lengths, so 10 squared, plus our other side length, which is 22, and we're going to square it, minus 2 times the first side length, which is 10, times the second side length, which is 22, times cosine of this angle that we have, which is 44. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to square this 10 and this 22. So that leaves us with B squared equals 10 squared is 100, plus 22 squared, which is 484, minus 2 times 10 times 22, that gives us 440, excuse me, and we still have that cosine of 44. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to have B squared equals 100 plus 484 is 584 minus 440 cosine of 44. From here, we are going to take the square root of both sides, so we are going to type the square root of, in our calculator, 584 minus 440 cosine of 44. That should leave us with 16.4, and that's going to be our answer. B is going to be 16.4. Okay, so down here we're looking for MN, so I'm just going to write that as X. So we're going to have X squared equals one of the sides, so 48 squared, plus the other side, which is 29 squared, minus 2 times 48 times 29 cosine of the angle that we're given, which is 104. So we've got X squared equals 48 squared is 2,304 plus 29 squared, which is 841, minus 2 times 48 times 29. In our calculator, that gives us 2,784, and we have cosine of that angle, which is 104. Okay, so that leaves us with X squared equals 2,304 plus 841 gives us 3,145 minus this 2,784 cosine of 104. From here, once we get to this step, we are going to take the square root of both sides to get x by itself. So when we type that into our calculator, x is going to equal about 61.8. Okay. Moving on down. Okay, so if we are given all of our sides, so if I have T, U, B, okay, this is going to give us TU is 4.4, UV is 7.1, and TV is 6.7. Okay, so we're going to use the same idea, and we are looking for our angle V. So what we want to do is we want our A squared to be this 4.4 squared. So we want to use the opposite side of the angle that we're looking at on that side by itself equals the other two sides squared. So we've got this 6.7 squared plus 7.1 squared minus 2 times 6.7 times 7.1 cosine of that V. We don't know what V is, okay? So we're going to simplify it just a little bit. 4.4 squared is going to give us 19.36 equals 6.7 squared, which is 50.41 plus 7.1 squared, which is 44.89 minus 2 times 6.7 times 7.1 equals that 95.14, and we've got that cosine of V. Okay, so now we're going to keep simplifying. So we've got this 19.36 equals this 50.41 plus 44.89 gives us 95.3, and then we've still got this minus 95.14 cosine of V. So what we want to do is we want to get everything away from this cosine of V. So what we're going to do is we are going to subtract this 95.3 from both sides. That's going to give us negative 75.94 equals negative 95.14 cosine of V. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to divide this negative 95.14 from both sides. That is going to leave us with cosine of V equals 75.94 over 95.14. So to get this V by itself, we are going to have V equals the inverse of cosine of that 75.94 over 95.14. So our V, when we put that into our calculator, is going to be 37 degrees, 37.0 degrees, okay? And our last one, we're going to skip our last page. So if we still have this TUV, which is 4.4 and 7.1 and 6.7, now we are looking for the angle T. So remember, the side that's on its side by itself is going to be the one that's opposite the angle that we're looking at. So we are going to have 7.1 squared equals that 4.4 squared plus 6.7 squared minus 2 times 4.4 times 6.7 cosine of T. Okay, so we're going to simplify it again. So we've got 50.41 equals 19.36 plus 44.89 minus 2 times 4.4 times 6.7 equals 58.96. And we've still got that cosine of t. Okay, so now we are going to add these two together. So we've got 50.41 equals 64.25 minus 58.96 cosine of t. Now we need to subtract the 64.25 from both sides. That's going to leave us with negative 13.84 equals negative 58.96 cosine of t. Okay, so now all we need to do is divide both sides by this negative 58.96. Divide it by negative 58.96. That's going to leave us with the cosine of t equals 13.84 over 58.96. So to get t by itself, we have t equals the inverse of cosine of 13.84 divided by 58.96. And when we do that, that should give us about 76.4 degrees. Okay, and we are going to skip the last page today, so go ahead and start working on your IXLs.